Yo, yo, yo. I was trying to think of a word that rhymes with yo, and I was going to say let's go. I don't know, that's probably the best way to go about it. But welcome everyone to another stream on the old YouTube channel. I must apologize. I was meant to do one last week, but pretty much the day I wanted to do it, couldn't do it. And then I just had to upload videos and everything like that. And then I was going to do it on the morning that the show came out. And then I just thought, you know what, I'll leave it till today and we'll just have even more to talk about and everything like that. Because I'd rather do them like soon after the episode airs rather than just before the next one airs. You know what I mean? But then again, might do a live stream before the finale or the episode 5, you want to call it, in what, 5 days time, 4 days time, whatever it is. So yeah, just wanted to get that out there. But thanks to everyone that's here at the moment. Not too sure how many people here because it's a weird time, I think. I can't remember what time was. The only thing is I remember the last stream I did was on Thanksgiving. And I can't remember what time I did that. So hopefully this is an okay time for most people. If it is, then let me know. But yeah, obviously, if you weren't here for the first one, in regards to the actual layout of the stream and just the fact it's a picture of my logo that looks like a heart beating when I talk or whatever. Don't ever set up to do any sort of face cam or anything like a proper stream. Hopefully by January, I'll have the computer fixed that has the whole webcam set up with that. So we can, in January, and then obviously lead up to March when the Flash is back and everything like that, we can do all that. So for the meantime, we just have to live like this, but, hopefully it's good enough. I mean, seeing my head on screen is going to change too much. But yeah, thank you to everyone that's here at the moment. Let me know where you're from in the world. I'm always curious to hear that when we start these streams, because obviously we're not just locked down to one nation. Obviously, we're on the world, but we're all from different nations and stuff. So I'm always curious to see where everyone's from. Obviously, as you can see through some people already, if you do want to get your question 100% answered, or just your opinion or what you want to call it, 100% read out, or you just want to support the stream, obviously that helps a lot. You can super chat like Silhouette Animator and Kyle have, and I'll get to your questions in a moment. But yeah, so hopefully that makes sense. I think I did. I think that made sense. Central City, apparently, coins from America. Brandon, Pakistan, Mississippi. Is that it? Sorry, that's just insulting. I don't even know what that accent was. Winnipeg. Is that in the... Where's Winnipeg in Canada? Is that on the east, west, middle? I always hear Winnipeg, Canada, but I don't know necessarily where it is within old Canada. Georgia, as in the country, or the place in America, like the state in America? State? Yeah, state. Could be either. The Caribbean, America. I'm boring from Macau. Toronto, I know that's on the east coast of good old Canada. Colorado, Greece, Netherlands. Oh god, the world is big. Brett's from Australia, obviously repping the home nation. Oh, your country, Georgia. Okay, yeah. Well, I guess the confusing thing when you have things that are named the same and everything like that. East London. What's in East London? Is that... I was trying to think of a soccer or football team that's in East London. Yeah, Chelsea's in West London, isn't it? I can't remember. Anyway, so I'll just quickly answer these super chats just to start it off. Actually, we'll kick off with Kyle's just because it's not really too much of a question. Because Kyle with the $5, thank you very much for that, for supporting the channel, Kyle. Always appreciated. I don't know why, but I have a free super chat and it says you get money. So here is money. Well, wouldn't that be awesome if everyone just had that pop up? So thank you very much for that, Kyle. Always appreciated. Thank you that for some reason you chose to give it to me. Awesome. Thank you very much for that. And Silhouetted Animator with the $5 again. Thank you very much. Lady in Red Speedster, Batwoman Iris mentioned in part 4 makes me think Female Red Death. So I haven't rewatched the episode. I lied. In my review, I said I was going to rewatch the episode straight after. I've just been really busy. Just with a lot of family stuff leading up to Christmas and the end of the year. So I haven't had time to rewatch the Flash yet. I will do it today because I got a free day today. So I'm actually excited to rewatch it. So I have to rewatch that specific moment and I'll listen out for that at that time. But did they say Speedster or did they just say Lady in Red? Because that's the thing I'm confused about with the whole thing. Did they actually say Speedster or did they just say Lady in Red? Because I think I've seen some people say it's Lady in Red, and they say like Little Lady in Red. So I obviously haven't been able to rewatch the actual whole thing to see it all play out. But if anyone wants to let me know in the chat specifically what is said there, then we can have a little bit of a discussion here because I'm curious to see if it means anything, like if it actually, um, like actually means potentially anything. It just said Lady in Red, so it doesn't say. Okay, so they said Lady in Red when mentioning the gun that stops speedsters. Okay, that's very interesting. Does anyone have any theories what Lady in Red is? Because obviously the easy one to go is that it's a female Red Death. You know, and that that theory's been out there, like because it's pretty be pretty like surprising if they used Bruce Wayne for any sort of Red Death thing. So would they go down the route of like Cade Kane or whatever it might be? So um if it's not Red Death, do you have any thoughts on who it could be? Yeah, like I did see actually. Brendan says Jesse is Red Death, as in Jesse Quick. I saw some people say that as well because she wears a red suit, um, as you'd expect, like a good speedster to do. But then again, they came from Trajectory, who was a bad speedster. Anyway, we'll move on. But yeah, I do wonder if it actually means anything, just because you got to remember that this is an alternate future, which obviously exists on an alternate timeline, that or an alternate branch of the timeline. So I don't necessarily know if it's going to mean too much going forward, or if it's. But the thing is like, why mention it? I've always been that like a big thing of like, why mention it if it doesn't mean anything? You know what I mean? And obviously, I think we all remember back to season 5 when they mentioned Red Death and everything like that. I guess the issue with Kate as Red Death is that if it's Kate from another Earth, then technically it should look like Ruby Rose. Like if it was Kate from this Earth, then yeah, it could look like this new version that they created on Batwoman last season. But I guess for some sort of well, not really, I guess, because we've seen the other doppelgangers like Earth 90 Barry Allen look like Jay Garrick and Henry Allen and stuff like that. Earth whatever Clark Kent was Brandon Routh. So I guess it doesn't have to look like Ruby Rose. They could cast anyone they want if it is going to be a Kate came from another Earth. So I guess they could do it any way they wanted if they wanted to do it that way. And with Red Death, I actually implore them to have some creativity around it, and have their way with it and just do whatever they want with it and have fun with it. Just because there's little to it in the comics. It's not that expanse outside the fact it's Bruce Wayne and Barry Allen sort of merged. So there's actually not that much there to begin with. There's not much there outside of that. You know what I mean? Yeah, well, Ruby Rose isn't there. That was the sort of like the issue I brought up. I was like, well, are they going to use Ruby Rose? But I guess if you go multiverse, then it doesn't really matter because we've seen all the alternate versions of certain characters like Barry Allen, Clark Kent, and stuff like that, and they look different. Lois Lane as well. They just look different. Did we ever figure out who the random guy was at the party? It was a guy called Marcus, and apparently he was the guy that Alex Danvers was trying to set Caitlin up with. So she mentions Marcus, and on the thingo, the like the promo images that came out, they sort of like label who's in the photo. So they'd say like Osric Chow is Ryan Choi, Javicia Leslie is Ryan Wilder, Candice Patton is Iris West. And then they said, I think his name was Andros Sotos or Andre Sotos or something like that. And it said he was just playing a character called Marcus. And people that were, remembered in episode 1 or 2 or whatever it was, Alex Danvers says Marcus is a person that she's going to set Caitlin up with. So, yeah. But then Caitlin wasn't at that party. So he was just there. But I don't know if we're going to see him come back into it. Apparently, he's not just a random actor. He's been in like Supernatural and stuff like that, I'm pretty sure, as like characters. So and he didn't say anything, so I'm sure we'll probably see him. I'm not too sure. I have to wait and see though. But yeah, Lady in Red. I don't know what they're going to do. It'll be very interesting to see if we get any follow up from that. But we do know, and this needs to be remembered, that Armageddon like the fallout from Armageddon gives birth to two, as in the number 2, new villains, and one of them is meant to be horror based, and we're led to believe they're a speedster. So yeah, that'll be quite interesting to find out. Naruto with a $2 super chat. Thank you very much for that, Naruto. Why am I looking at the chat? I should be looking at the screen where it's a bit bigger to read. Arrowverse ranking stream soon. It's been 2+ really? I know time. I guess this whole like this the past like 2021 and 2020 like really have they actually existed? Like the fact that that's been 2 years since that is insane. So I'm trying to think. Would you want a ranking stream? Because I know people like them. Would you want a ranking stream? And we can maybe do two different things. Maybe we can do a just straight up season ranking, and then we might do a villain update ranking just because the different villains have come and gone since then. And we're either doing them in the same stream if it time permits, or we can do two different streams. So I might do them once Armageddon's over. So I might do it like maybe the week of Christmas because I'll try and fit it in. Maybe do one then and then maybe one just before Superman Lois premieres or something like that. But if you want that, let me know. Obviously in the chat, obviously, or just just message me on social media and stuff like that. But yeah, I'll definitely want to do one because I like doing those streams. And I know people enjoy, contributing. Because if you haven't been to one of those ranking streams before, if you're new to the channel or just hadn't been here before, we pretty much put all the stuff up there to rank, and we go back and forth with the chat and really decide where certain things should be. Obviously, I'll try and have like an executive decision if it's really close, but we all combine our thoughts and opinions and stuff to rank the list as best as we can. So yeah, I wouldn't mind doing that again. Marty Marty, I thought it said Morty, as in Rick and Morty, but Marty, obviously I know you've been here before, Marty. So, do you think if the Black Flash is in next week's shows, sorry, let me restart. Do you think if the Black Flash is in next week, or in next week's shows, it could be a lead up to be part of Red Death if it is to be in this season? There's a possibility. I'm very curious to see how they deal with this Eobard Thorn thing for next week, because the synopsis says Barry has the opportunity to end that whole rivalry. So what's the opportunity that presents itself? Is it erasing him from the timeline completely, that it was never there? Or is it offering Reverse Flash up to Black Flash? It would be repeating some stuff from Legends, but let's be honest, if Black Flash is going to do it on Legends, then he should do it now as well. Like, and if Reverse Flash is trapped in a certain time, or like one point in time, and he really can't escape Black Flash, then I don't know. It's just like it's pretty much fast food, if you want to call it, for Black Flash to come in and take. So I think it's logical that Black Flash is an option to show up and deal with what being presented there with Eobard Thorn. Sorry if you can hear a plane flying overhead. I'm on like a flight path where I live. I don't know if that's loud. I always have to pause when I'm recording videos. Even in some videos, you can hear it. I'm like editing them. I'm like, oh god, you can hear that plane flying over the top. But yeah, it could be a lead up to the Red Death thing. It depends on how they want to execute that, obviously. But thank you very much for that, Marty. Charlie with the $5. Can you send me the emoji from your Discord server? I can comment by email. I can get that if you can email. If you go to my YouTube page, there's an email there, like my business email. So just let me know you're Charlie from the stream, and I'll try and hit you back with all that. So obviously I can't send it through the stream. So yeah, thank you very much for that. Let me restart. Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that, Charlie. And yeah, if you just shoot me an email through that email that's on my YouTube channel, like the About section, that I can get back to you after the stream at some point. So yeah. Sarah Shane, I'll just quickly do this because I know. Well, actually, yeah, well, I know this is a common thing. The only thing I didn't understand too much was this part, because I saw people was like, well, how is Barry still alive if Eobard had killed him as a kid? And it's because we know through Legends and everything, and they use that logic in Armageddon that time takes a while to cement itself, and they went with sort of like a Back to the Future thing, like Barry's like hand was going invisible and everything like that. My logic is just around this is just that Eobard just created the timeline as he wanted to. I think they could have easily done it that Eobard worked with Damien and Damien used magic to make it happen. And I think that actually would have been an easier way to do it, because magic, you don't actually need to explain too much. You can just say, oh, it was magic. And we as the audience can't really debate it too much because magic is magic. So I think they should have actually used Damien Dark to do all of that. But they obviously wanted to go down the storyline where Barry's Reverse Flash had worked with Damien and everything like that. So I can understand why they wanted to go down that route. And I like that relationship in the episode. And I think it outweighs really having to explain, you know, all of this. So I don't know. You could argue that, or the other argument, I don't know if anyone's written in this chat yet because I'm a bit up. They could have done it where Eobard's constructed it where Barry becomes the Reverse Flash, and then he goes back and kills Barry as a kid. So him as Reverse Flash is already in the timeline that's there, and now it just takes a while to cement it, and that's why we're seeing Barry slowly die. Does that make sense? Hopefully, that makes some sort of sense. Silhouetted, but yeah, silhouetted animated with the $2. Iris said the lady in red was a speedster. Yeah, like yeah, so with like the gun and everything like that. So that just shows you how far behind with these super chats in the chat. I've got to catch up, so hopefully this isn't too painful to watch. I did see some people asking, is the Atom coming back as well? I saw a couple of those things in the chat. That's a flip of the coin. I mean, they made a suit. Those suits aren't cheap. You know, just throw away one of those suits for like 1 minute, less than a minute on screen, which Ryan Choi was on for. So yeah, I don't know if why they would do that. Dan Campbell with the $20, but I don't know if there's anything below that on the actual thing because I'm on the StreamYard thing. It doesn't really show like emojis if that's the case. But thank you very much for that, Dan. You always support the channel. I'm greatly appreciated for that. So I'm just scrolling down the chat again because everything like that. Silhouette anime with the $5. Can't kill Thor 100% unless the negative speed force is destroyed. That's how he preserves his being if killed. Well, I think it's the fact that he's gone out and there's so many different versions of him. Like even with the Wells looking version, there's technically more than one. So he's pretty smart. And he like I think they said that in multiple interviews since the show started, but obviously specifically like once we got into like the, you know, maybe like after season 5, I would say, that he has sort of like he's always ahead. Now, that doesn't mean he's always going to beat Barry, but he's always got a plan. You know, he's always planned ahead, and obviously he's got a fail safe. So even if one version is killed, there is another one that's there. So I guess the big question is if there is a Thorn that dies in this week's episode or gets taken away by Black Flash, which I guess is sort of the same thing to an extent, what other version of Eobard is waiting to come in next? Is it a younger version? Is it another Wells version? A Wells-looking version, might I say? Is it Matt Letcher? Like, we don't know what other version is sitting there and waiting to, you know, come about the next time. And I think that's going to be a very curious thing to see, and whether they hinted it in this week's episode as well, or the upcoming episode as well. So I don't know. You have to let me know what your opinions are on that one. So I'm just looking through the chat again. Kristen Kim is writing next week's episode, the same woman who wrote the exorcism of Nash Wells. What can we expect for next week? It doesn't really matter too much in regards to like the storyline because that's obviously done by Eric Wallace. Like he's the showrunner. So he would say, okay, in this episode, these major plot points happen. But in regards to the little intricacies and the actual quality of the writing and stuff, then obviously that's where you take it from. Now, Kristen, that episode, X's and Nash Wells, is a really good episode. So based off that, looking forward to the dialogue because I think that was an issue last season was the dialogue was the worst thing of last season. I don't think there was a lot of time spent on it. So yeah, based off her previous work in regards to all of that, very much looking forward to it. But thank you very much for that question, and thank you very much for Silhouetted Animator for the multiple support. Super Chat Dan with the $10. It looked like Mia and Reverse Flash appeared at the same time. Maybe the timeline changed again where Barry is responsible for the lost loved one and temporarily Mia teams up with Thorn. I did see, I don't know if it's specifically this, but thank you very much for the Super Chat as well, Dan. I like how your name is Super Chat Dan. Just pretty fitting. But I did see some people talking about like if Mia thinks it's Barry specifically, like maybe she had known about like things like with Flashpoint and everything like that, or like that whole story had been passed on and talked about. So in the trailer, if you've seen the trailer, you might be able to remember, but there's parts where like Mia comes into Star Labs as if she's hunting Barry almost. Like it looks like she's hunting Barry, but then there's other points in the trailer where it looks like she's going up against Reverse Flash. So obviously the trailers don't give you the context of where it places within the episode. Like there's been times where you'll see something in a trailer. I fall foul of it all the time, where you'll go, oh, okay, that's definitely in the final act. Like that's definitely the final fight. And it happens in the first 10 minutes. You're like, okay, well, there goes my logic on this episode or my predictions. So I'm very curious to see what Mia does in this episode and how it plays into Armageddon. Because the thing is, and I'm sure most would agree outside of like maybe little parts of the episode, but episode 4 or part 4 felt like the finale. Like if someone told you this is a 4-part event and you watch that fourth part, you would think, oh, that's it. And that Reverse Flash scene is teasing the next storyline in the season or something to happen later on. Like you wouldn't think there's another episode in this event if someone, if you're just watching that, if you didn't know it was 5 parts. So I'm very curious to see what this last part just is as a whole and how Mia plays into it properly. And I guess who is this lost loved one? I think there might be some thoughts by Mia where she thinks Barry might be responsible for it, or maybe Eobard just tells her. We don't know if Mia knows too much about Reverse Flash. She's never met him, from what we know, because he wasn't in Crisis, so there was no interaction between her and Reverse Flash at that point. So, I'm excited to see it, but I'm also not sure exactly what we're going to get there at the same time. But yeah, thanks for that, Dan. Have I ever watched Ben 10? I think I did watch it when I was but I would have been like super like when it first came out. Like I'm talking like season 1 and 2. I don't know how many seasons there were of Ben 10, but very, very early on. I can't remember too much about it. Just like the watch with different aliens or something in it. But yeah, outside of that, not too much. Joe is still alive because all the things Eobard did got fixed. Yes, but there's no matter what you do, even if you're fixing stuff in time, there's always going to be repercussions. The classic example is Flashpoint. Now, Eobard messed with multiple things that Barry had to go back and fix. What Barry did in Flashpoint, then went back and fixed it, was only one thing, which was stopping his mum dying, and then letting Eobard kill his mum. In this one, it's stopping Joe from dying and multiple other things. So you're changing multiple things on the timeline, so there should be even more repercussions than we saw, in the rest of season 3 after Flashpoint. So what does that mean for season 8? It makes you wonder what they're going to do. And they also said, I forgot about this until the other day when I was thinking about the rest of the season, because I was planning some videos that I'll do, once Armageddon's over, because I've got a bit like a decent break between the rest of the season after Armageddon ends. And I was like, oh, they also said that Armageddon is going to potentially affect the other shows as well, at least the shows that took part, or just little continuity things. So it makes me wonder, well, what are they doing? Because Flashpoint changed a decent amount, considering it was only one little thing. So what does Armageddon's timeline change mean? Makes you wonder. Multi-topic talk with the $5. Thank you much for that multi-topic talk. Just showing some support. Keep uploading great content. Thank you very much for that. Do we have the return? Or do we have the date of return? Sorry, for the Flash after the holiday break. Well, it's more than a holiday break. It's technically, you wouldn't even call it mid-season because we're only 5 episodes in and we got 18 episodes this season. So we come back to the Flash. I think it's March 7th or 8th or something like that. So there's a long break. The thing is that it seems long, but I can see the time flying past because the beginning of the year seems to go past pretty quickly. So it's what, 10, 11 weeks? So it's about 10, 11 weeks break. So it's pretty much just because the CW has so much content that they need to get out. So, and they need, like, the Flash, I think, would come back in probably maybe late January, early February, if they didn't have episodes of Batwoman and Legend of Tomorrow to finish. So if Legend of Tomorrow and Batwoman had no episodes left to air, Flash would come back in late January, early February. But we have to wait till March because they need to finish those episodes of Batwoman and Legends, and then they have to premiere Superman, Lois, and Naomi. Otherwise, they're just going to run out of time. So Flash is unfortunately just a bit of a victim there. But I think that they felt like they had the leeway to do it with the Flash because we had this Armageddon event which sort of existed out of everything. So once we pick up in March, it almost feel like a completely new season of sorts, or we're just starting off with a completely new storyline. So the break will be annoying, and we know, and I said this in my trailer breakdown, I think we know they're going to leave us with one hell of a torturous cliffhanger where we're going to be sitting there for 2.5 months going, what does that mean? Or we know exactly what it means. We're just really, really excited to see it happen. So curious to see what they drop us with. But the break will be a bit annoying, but at the same time, I'm still, looking forward to it, and I'm sure the time won't take too long to get there. Um, so I'm just looking through the chat again. Um, okay, I think it's just people having a conversation with each other. Who does Mia hate so much? I don't know what. I don't know if that's like is in Mia Queen. I'm not too sure if she's going to hate someone specifically. I think I guess it depends on what she's been told and everything like that. But once again, the lost loved one, like if it is William from the end of the Green Arrow and the Canaries backdoor pile, then that should have nothing to do with Thorn, unless they try and like make that connection happen or something like that. I'm not too sure. Brett, thank you very much for the $5, Brett. Who should Two Face be in Batwoman, as Batwoman said in Part 4? I don't know if they'll do Two Face in Batwoman. Obviously, if you don't watch Batwoman, like Batwoman's doing all these Batman rogue villains for season 3, but they're not the actual characters. I think the only one that's actually coming in that was the actual character is Poison Ivy. And even then, like, have they said that she's Pamela Isley? I'm not too sure. Um, so I don't think you actually see Batwoman. You actually see Two Face, sorry, on Batwoman. At least the Two Face you would like Harvey Dent. So it might be some other person who maybe they could do some like weird thing where Two Face fanboy and makes himself look like Two Face, goes through the same accident or something like that. I'm not too sure. Um, but it'd just be some random dude like we've seen with all the other ones so far this season for the most part. So wouldn't expect too much, but speaking of Batwoman though, for part 4, was I the only one that was so surprised she was in none of the episode? She was in 2.5 scenes, I would say, like that opening bit with Iris, which really she's like says like 2 lines. Then she has that scene with Iris, and then she has then she has the fight scene, and then she has the scene with Iris. I was like, really? Like she was hardly in the episode. Definitely the shortest guest star of the event. Like I was very surprised she was like hardly in the episode. I was at least expecting like one more thing with her, but anyway, I guess maybe they didn't have enough time with the actress because she is obviously the lead on the other show. Silhouetted animated with the $5. Since we are getting Mia Queen, do you think Earbud somehow connects to the hooded figures with the memory ring and Kidnap William? So we're just sort of suggesting that. It's a possibility, but I think that you might be forcing that because that obviously wouldn't have been the intention at all when they were doing Green Arrow and the Canaries and setting that up. So they might just think, I don't know, like maybe maybe some technology that connects to it or something like that, or she's just like it's time travelers who can time travel, speedsters. That's the connection that Mia does there. But once again, I don't know how much of the episode Mia's in next week. Like we look at all these other guest stars, and like, well, is she in the episode as much as like in regards to interactions with Barry, is she in there as much as Black Lightning was and all these interactions with Barry, or is she in a Batwoman role where she's in like 4 scenes? So I think she's going to be in more of it, and I think the episode and the fact that we sort of moved past the Armageddon timeline probably allows more room to play with. But I was not a fan of Mia, especially in season 8 of Arrow. Didn't really have too much of an opinion on her before that, but season 8 of Arrow really made me not like the character that much. So I'm really hoping that this final part of Armageddon flips it and definitely changes my opinion on her and what she can and can't do. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it, but I don't know how they're going to connect all that stuff because Eric Wallace, obviously the showrunner of The Flash, did say that like, oh, maybe you should rewatch the Green Arrow and the Canaries backdoor pilot before watching the episode that Mia shows up in, which I probably won't do because I can still remember the events of it. But that makes you think that they'll do like a bit of a follow on of it in some way, shape, or form. But yeah, thank you very much for that silhouetted animator. Um, yeah, it's good Joe's alive. I wish Joe was at the end of that scene. We know I'm pretty sure he's in this week's episode. Um, I'm pretty sure he's in this week's episode. Um, So when will the Flash season end? Well, if it comes back March 8th, then we have 13 episodes left. So even if it plays all the way through, like episode, like constant episodes, it'd be like what, beginning of June? But I don't think they'll do 13 episodes straight. I'll be very surprised if they do 13 episodes straight. We'll probably get like maybe like 3 weeks worth of breaks. So we'll have like, maybe like they'll do 4 episodes and then a 1 week break, then five, then a 1 week break, and then I don't know, something like that. You know what I mean? So they'll probably want to be done by they'd probably want to be done by June at some point because then Stargirl comes out and but then again, Stargirl would be on probably the same night that because Flash is changing nights as well. It's usually on a Tuesday night and they're going to Wednesday. So because they can't go back to Tuesday because it's going to be filled. So I don't know. I'm not too sure when it will end. It really depends on breaks and everything like that, which sometimes they can't control. It can be like other things that come into it. Like the Olympics are on, the Winter Olympics are on. Is it February or something like that? So February will probably have a lot of breaks for those shows that are there. Um, Gwendolyn with the $5 something like Gwendolyn. Do you think Ryan Choi would be a great addition to the current roster of Team Flash? And if so, how would he fit? What from the event will carry over? I'd love to see him join the show as a part of Team Flash. Not the weird, like, I didn't like that version that they had where he was like all snarky and everything. It seemed like he was, it reminds me of like just bad characters when like that was that whole subplot that they had there with like Allegra and Chester and then like Ryan being like a, I don't even know what you would call it, like I don't even know what the actual term would be, just weird. I don't know if I'd say I hated that subplot, but I heavily disliked it and didn't even see why it was relevant. But Ryan Choi, just as he was as the Atom, and when he's just being fun and the stuff we saw in Crisis, I'd love to see him come onto the show. I think the actor can do it. I just don't know how you would do it because now they have Chester there. I don't know how like I guess she could do it. I just don't know how you would do it consistently. Because one of the complaints has been like, oh, well, the Team Flash gets too bloated, even though, funnily enough, Team Flash is probably one of the less bloated teams within the Arrowverse. Funnily enough, but I guess the Flash is the most popular show, so people notice it there most, or they go, well, they see it there the most. If that makes sense. Um, but I just don't know how you can do it consistently with Chester there. So I think we'll see him come back. I just don't think he'll be like added properly on. In regards to what from the event will carry over, obviously that whole Lady in Red thing is a high possibility. Unfortunately, I think we all know that this is probably going to carry on into the actual thing. Chester and Allegra, like they've set up that they had feelings and everything, and that played out into this future, and in the present day, that's where it initially happened, or in 2021 it initially happened. Let's be honest, even though I think most people don't really care for it or anything like that, it's going to happen. So strap yourselves in, brace for it, and bite down the pencil because that's happening. But thank you very much for that, Gwendolyn. Hopefully, I gave a good opinion on that. I don't know if I did or not. Silhouette Anime with the $2 again. Imagine if clicking on it, I'll click on it so it goes on my stream. Imagine if Tommy Elliott became the Arrowverse Two-Face. I mean, he's a weird dude, Tommy Elliott, especially the Arrowverse version. So it's highly possible that they could go down that route. Maybe he gets like half a face to put on his non-face. Did they ever fix his face on Batwoman? I can't remember. Um, every Ryan Choi scene was bad. I think it was I think that whole any scene with him involving that subplot was just bad. I think that subplot in general was just bad. I don't think the writing was very good at all with that subplot. But I did like his scene when he came in as the Atom and everything like that. I think he looks good in the suit. And I think, yeah, I think he'd just be a fun character to have as the Atom. But yeah, that subplot that was there was just, yeah, not good at all. I definitely agree in regards to the writing of that one. Am I Australian? Yes, I am, James. Sorry, I'm probably quite behind the chat, so I'm going to try and catch up here. Jay wrote, "The Flash is boring and goofy now." It's definitely not boring. It's definitely not boring. If I appreciate the super chat, but I do disagree. The Flash is definitely not boring at the moment. The Flash is probably the opposite of boring. It's extremely captivating at the moment. I love Matt Letcher. That's coming from Ozea. Hopefully, I pronounced your name correctly, or Ozea. Once again, I'm terrible with names. Very sorry for that. I love Matt Letcher as well. In regards to Eobard Thawne, in regards to in like the performance of Reverse Flash, I do prefer Tom Cavanagh. I think he nails it every single time. But I do miss having some of that. Well, the thing I missed from the show that the show hasn't really done is tapping into the past of that and the origins of that rivalry between the Flash and Reverse Flash. And if you're going to do that, you got to bring in Matt Letcher. And I wish they could do that. Like we've already brought up on the channel how, from what I'd heard, in season 5 of The Flash, they wanted Matt. I don't think I've actually mentioned this on stream. I don't even know if I've actually mentioned it in a video specifically. I might have. I can't remember. I know I've mentioned it somewhere. But in season 5 of The Flash, this is what from what I've heard at the very least, they wanted Matt Letcher back for that Eobard Thawne role. So you know how like Nora's visiting the future and like it's just like, who's this person in prison? It's actually Eobard Thawne. That was meant to be Matt Letcher, but he wasn't available because he was filming Narcos. So they couldn't get him. If it was just one episode, they probably could have made it work, but they needed him for, I think it was meant to be like the last chunk of the season. Now, because they couldn't get him in, he wasn't available, they actually expanded the Eobard Thawne role in that season and put Tom Cavanagh, as Reverse Flash. And because he was already in that season, he was playing what season? What was he that season? Sherlock. I think he was playing Sherlock. So they just put him there. It was like the easy fix because they couldn't get Matt Letcher. Now, if Matt Letcher was Eobard Thawne in that season, it would have been a much smaller role compared to what it actually was, because they could just use Tom Cavanagh because he was already a series regular, didn't cost them anything else. So yeah, I think at that point, because they couldn't get him there, that sort of ended everything, because they already used the Wells version, and what happened with Wells at the end of that, or what happened with the Reverse Flash at the end of that season. It just made sense that Tom Cavanagh kept playing that character because it'd been set up that way. So different timeline. If anyone's from that different timeline where Matt Letcher wasn't on Narcos or had time and could potentially have come back, let me know how it turned out. Ben with the $15. Thank you very much for that, Ben. Pagey, feeling lost, like you have no goal in life, like you're covered in dirt and wet leaves, like you're an earthworm. Are you an earthworm? Kind of sounds like you're an earthworm, actually. Is this meant to be like a bait and switch where I become an earthworm? I I'm sort of confused by these super chats. Ooh, I don't know. This is this meant to be like a life reflection moment? I'm trying to think. Feeling lost, like you have no goal in life, like you're covered in dirt and wet leaves, like you're an earthworm. Are you an earthworm? Kind of sounds like you're an earthworm. This is blowing my mind more than than Armageddon, I think. I want to thank you, Ben, for probably making me have to think more than I've had to think over the past 48 hours. I don't really know what to say to this, though. I'm really confused. But thank you very much for that, Ben, for supporting the channel in some way, shape, or form. I think this might be on my mind for the next 48 hours as well. I'm really confused. I'm going to have to move on because I think I'm getting a migraine. But Naruto with the $2 in the app, was Alex part of Team Flash? Yeah, I think like Alex, Ryan were part of Team Flash because like Alex was like sort of like taking orders pretty much. Like when I say Ryan, I mean like Ryan Choi. And I guess Batwoman was there because Ryan Wilder is Iris's friend. So I guess that was the logic around it. So don't know what happened with Supergirl in that timeline. I guess maybe like Supergirl still maybe left or something like that. I'm not too sure. I think that's the best way to put it. I'm not too sure. Am I still watching Batwoman? I watched the first 4 episodes. And I didn't like the first like 10 minutes of episode 4, so I sort of rage quit it. But I've heard that 5, 6, and 7 are good episodes. So I will catch up because it's on its mid-season break now. So when I have some time, I'll definitely catch up. I say like I can understand why there's issues with Chillblaine. My biggest issue with him is his suit. He just looks like Magic Mike. He looks like he's meant to be like Chillblaine from the Magic Mike world or Magic Mike Earth, whatever you want to call it. I think he's meant to be sort of like corny. He's meant to be like, I guess, like a personification of like the 90s. Like even like some of the like the catchphrases and stuff he says is very 90s. They even have him like have him like fight like a Street Fighter character. He sort of looks like a Street Fighter character, even with the Magic Mike outfit. I think I said that in my review for this week. I don't dislike the character. I just think like make some minor changes, and I think you have a fun character to have there. But I don't think he should be consistently on the show. And I don't know what they're doing with him this season. I'm not too sure. Um, and if you wanted to have him on the show, like just have I don't know some sort of like thing that plays to the storyline. Where it is him and Frost that go out and do some stuff if they need to do that. Um, but I don't know. I don't know how I feel about him being on Team Flash. I think that's a bit odd if he's just like fully on Team Flash now. He should like be like an anti sort of hero sort of thing if they want to go down that route. Um, but yeah. Quendolin with the $2. I watched the video on Superman and Lois trailer. I'm excited. Thank you very much for watching that. Firstly, and thank you very much for the super chat. I'm obviously very much looking forward to season 2 of Superman and Lois as well. Like we got uh, a month and like just over a month until it comes back. So I'm intrigued to see how it goes in season 2 and like what they because like when you have a good first season, the bar is high. So you got to like try and meet that as well, or surpass it as well. Like not many shows have a season 2 that's better than season 1. Like the only one in really in the Arrowverse, there's probably 2 in the Arrowverse that have a better season 2 than season 1, and that's Legends and Arrow. I think those are the 2 that clearly have the better season 2 than season 1. So I'm intrigued to see what they do, and who the villain is and everything like that. But yeah. Sorry, I'm just looking through the chat again. What's my thoughts on No Way Home? Well, by this time next week, I would have seen it. So I see it in 6 days. In 6 days and 2 hours, I'll be in the cinema watching it. So looking forward to it. I've only watched one trailer from it because I didn't want to get spoiled by anything. And I'm sort of lucky I don't follow that many things on Twitter where I would get spoiled if anything did come out. So I'm sort of going into it somewhat blind. Scuba with the £5 segment for that. Scuba, after season 8, would you consider doing a favorite moment of every season? That could definitely be something I do. I've definitely got clear favorite moments of a few of the seasons. Like some of the other ones that I have to like think of the episodes specifically to narrow that down. We could do like a rankings, we could do like a stream on that, like put like 5 moments from every season that I think are the best, and we can all vote on which is the best from each season. I'll pick like a top 3 from each season. We could do that, but if you wanted to like specific video, then I guess I could do that as well after season 8, obviously. But before that, we can do like season 1 to 7 and everything like that. But thank you very much for that, Scuba Steve. Do I think Flash and Stargirl will cross over ever? I think we will see Stargirl probably cross over with the Arrowverse, not just the Flash, but the Arrowverse in next year's crossover, which will be like 10 or 11 months from now, because that marks the 10-year anniversary of the Arrowverse. So I'd be very surprised if they don't do, or they don't try and make that happen. The biggest issue with Stargirl is that it films in what do you call it? It films in Atlanta, so it was very similar. It's like the Black Lightning stuff, where only Black Lightning came up when they did Crisis. If Black Lightning filmed in Vancouver, I'm sure they would have had them cross over with each other. Not just Black Lightning as a character, but Black Lightning as a show with all its characters, or most of its characters, with the other shows. But yeah, because they film in not only a different state, but a different country. They film in Canada for the Flash and the other Arrowverse shows, and then Black Lightning and now Stargirl's in Atlanta, in America. So it's just different stuff going on. So I think we'll see that happen in hopefully next year's 10-year anniversary crossover. And I have no idea what they'd have planned then. Like, it could be bigger than Crisis. Like, let's be completely honest. It could be bigger than Crisis. So I'm just looking at the chat. I know there's some like conversational stuff going on between people in the chat, but I can't really keep up with it because I'm flashing through. Ben with the $8. Thank you much for that, Ben. I got to go. Steve Carlsberg is back home, and I want to stand behind him in the mirror when he bends down to wash his face. His shrieks are the funniest. I have no he. Who is Steve Carlsberg? I'm gonna have to Google this because I've Google. Show me who Steve Carlsberg is. Okay, I won't say the actual quote, but Steve Carlsberg. I'm not too sure who he is. But Ben, your super chats have definitely been somewhat of a highlight of this stream in some way, shape, or form. I'm assuming this is for No Way Home. Got a free ticket. Well, on Premiere night, that would have been hard to get unless it was just a free ticket randomly. But it'd be interesting to see how how people can make it through if they can't see it the first day, if there's like spoilers and stuff like that. Because like, I don't know if anyone has it on their phone and stuff, if you have Twitter or even like the news thing, but you get like things that like news things which will spoil stuff, which is some of the most annoying things that can potentially happen. Yeah, like it'll say like, oh, this thing happened on this show. It's like, well, I haven't watched the show yet. Like I got Hawkeye spoiled this week from a Twitter notification from some random account I don't follow that spoiled Hawkeye at the end for me. And I was like, well, what the hell? I didn't even intentionally do this. I looked at my phone, I got a spoiler. Anyway, Mask, like Mask, MASC 4483. We'll just go with that one. Thank you very much for that super chat. I think I think it's meant to be pronounced Mask. Not too sure. But how long do you think it will be till John Cryer joins the cast of Superman and Lois? I don't think he'll join the cast as in like regular, but it wouldn't surprise me too much if eventually he does show up on that show as Lex Luthor. Like I've said in some videos where I have brought up like Lex and everything like that. If he goes to Superman and Lois, he does have to play a different character or a different version of Lex than he played for the most part on Supergirl. There were times on Supergirl where he played a Lex Luthor that would fit Superman and Lois, but that was like a minor amount of the time on screen. A lot of the times he was playing like a campier version, which fit the tone of Supergirl, and it worked there. And he was a really good Lex for Supergirl. But if he does appear on Superman and Lois, he sort of have to play that more stoic, well, not stoic, but like more just serious version of Lex that would go up against that Tyler Hoechlin version, I think. So I'd like to see him show up there. I just don't know where and when they would want to use him, because I don't know if the show has to be in that time and place for I think Lex to show up. But then again, Lex can go, you know what, today I just feel like annoying Superman. So he can just go and do that if he wants to. How high is the chance of Flash will do a season 9? The Flash will have season 9. If season 8 was the final season, they would have already announced it. So yeah, there'll be a season 9 at the very least. P.A.G.E.Y. Does that stand for anything? I just thought I'd put Pagey as a abbreviated title. I just thought I'd go that way. I'd trade Allegra for Cisco anytime. I think most people would, but I think Allegra and Cisco are different characters. I think like Cisco and Chester are obviously the similar characters. Gemma Simmons is directing Superman and Lois episode 7. Yeah, so the actress Elizabeth Henstridge, I think her name is, who played, I guess, Simmons, who maybe in the future continues to play Simmons in the MCU or in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. She's directing episode 7 of Superman and Lois. So I'm assuming that maybe she went through, I don't know. It's hard to tell because they got like the actress that played the Pink Power Ranger directing, I think, episode 5 or 6. So they're just getting all these former actresses of like fan driven shows to direct Superman and Lois. Yeah. But yeah, so she's directing episode 7. And I think David Ramsey, who obviously directed who was Diggle, sorry, I think he directed an early episode of Superman and Lois this season. Super Chat Dan with the $2. Is Eddie back due to repairs in the timeline? In episode 6, he's in the episode because of time travel, but we don't know what that means going forward, because we know after Armageddon, I think it's episode 6 and 7 and maybe 8 are like sort of side episodes. Like we know episode 6 has Bart and Nora in it. But we don't know whether that's it for Eddie and what else, because even though there might be, they call like interlude episodes, but they could still be episodes that still carry on the storyline. It's just that they're not focusing 100% on whatever the storyline is. So I don't know specifically what they're doing with Eddie past that episode. They're not obviously going to spoil it for us, but because they have the handy thing where people can just fly in and out now, there's no quarantine and stuff, they can get away with a lot of castings and, you know, people being in multiple episodes without it being known. So yeah. What's this? Someone said there's new set photos. Give me 2 seconds. If you want, we can have a look at these set photos if there's anything here. Is there set photos? For what? Episode 11. Oh, it's for Legends. Okay, it's Legends. Okay, don't worry. Thought it was Flash. Thank you, Gary, for that. Hi, Paige. You love your videos. Thank you very much. Cal, thank you very much for the $1. Thank you very much for that. Do I think Flash will get a new suit in the season, in the final season? I think the suit he's going to be getting, because if you don't remember, I completely forgot until after episode 4, but Flash gets the gold boots this week. He gets the gold boots this week, so we'll have the finished Flash suit. Like we pretty much got the perfect Flash suit for the most part. Like you can argue there could be like little things changed here and there for the most part, but he's got the finished Flash suit. So yeah. In regards to how many, I saw, I think Grace put in there and a couple of other people. In regards to how many more seasons the Flash will have, as I said, definitely has season 9 because if season 8 was the final season, that's it. But Grant Gustin's always said about hitting season 10. So my money was always on season 9. Like I've said that since like season 5. But if like they got a season 10, it wouldn't surprise me in the slightest. But my bets, like my money's always been on season 9 for years now. So I think we'll eventually well, not eventually, but I think I'll probably be right because they haven't announced season 8 as the final season. So let's see if we get season 10. 10 would be cool because it'd be the same amount as Smallville. But if they like even now, like they're going to surpass Arrow with episodes by just finishing season 8. So Flash is already currently the longest Arrowverse running show. So it'd be interesting to see if they can get to Smallville numbers as well. You feel like there's trailers for Spider-Man have spoiled a lot. I hope it's not garbage that like Venom 2. I haven't watched Venom 2 yet. Is that I don't know, it just didn't interest me. I thought it didn't look good. It didn't look I don't want to say it looked terrible, but it didn't look amazing. It didn't look like, oh, I have to run to the cinema to see this. Spider-Man, I'm saying on the first session that it opens up in Australia, which would be like Wednesday at like 6 p.m. If you're in New York, I'll be seeing it like Wednesday, 6 p.m. time for you. So I know I won't be spoiled at least by like that. I think the only people that could spoil it, I think, are English people or people in the UK because it comes out earlier there. But then again, I think there's midnight screenings in Australia for that midnight between Wednesday and Thursday. So they would be, I think, the first people to watch it in the world, like publicly. I think there's midnight screenings. I don't know if they're doing midnight screenings everywhere else. When am I getting my camera fixed? I said this at the beginning of the thing, but obviously weren't here, which I don't blame you for. I think I said like the first 30 seconds. So hopefully it's the computer that's the issue. It's not really the webcam thing. So the computer with the whole webcam situation, I'll hopefully get fixed hopefully by the after Christmas. The issue is that it's sort of a pain in the rear end to get stuff sorted out, to get like things booked and everything like that. So hopefully I'll get it fixed by then. Yeah. Just side story. I had to book a car service because my indicator on my car's, or the blinker, I think Americans call it a blinker, but the indicator on my car isn't working. So I feel really dangerous driving because I can't indicate right. I'm pressing my right thing and people in front of me can't tell I'm turning right. So I have to get that service, and that was a pain. Anyway, that's a side story. Canada Grass to the $5. Is it true you quit the Afterpay to become the season 8 villain for the Flash? Season 9, my friend. Season 9. Paige, I send you a link on Twitter about an article that Robbie Amell saying it was the final season of the Flash. Don't know if you'll speculate on that. I think he was just speculating because he like I don't think Robbie Amell is going to be the one that announces that it's the final season. If for example, season 9's the final season of The Flash, I'd expect them to announce it probably in like March, like around the time that season 8's coming back from that break. But if season 8 won't be the final season, at least I'd be shocked if it is, because it would have been, for a show running this long, it would have been announced. It would have been announced already. What are the chances of the Canaries and Green Arrow continuing? I would say like a 0.5% chance. Some would say like a negative chance, but I guess you got to give like some sort of slither of chance to everything. Nothing's impossible. I want the Flash to go 12 or 13 seasons, but I feel like they are going to break my heart like Arrow didn't stop at 10. It depends, because I guess one of the advantages they have with the Flash is that it's a character that's existed for 80 years and continued making comics for 80 years. So there's a lot of stuff they can do. It just depends on. It really depends on Grant Gustin. I've always said that Grant Gustin is really the only one that matters in regards to this, the decision making. The CW will keep making it. It's still a ridiculously profitable show for them in multiple ways and in multiple avenues. So it really comes down to Grant Gustin. If he wants to keep doing it, they'll keep doing it. Like that's pretty much the simplicities of it. But if Grant's like, look, I've done 10 seasons, I want to move on, then you got to respect that, and that would be it. And I think we can all live with that and be happy with that decision. But I think it really comes down to Grant. Caleb with the $2 is the season 1 director back for this season of Flash. Season 1 director. Not 100% sure what you mean there, Caleb. Let me know in the chat exactly what you mean there, and I'll try and get back to you. But I'm not 100% sure what you're referencing there. The season 1 director back for this season. Because like obviously there would have been multiple directors in season 1. You might have to let me know specifically what you mean there. Because I'm not 100% sure, and I don't really know how to answer it, to be completely honest. But yeah, let me know and I'll get back to you. Brandon with the thing here, cool theory. During Armageddon, Reverse Flash changes appearance to look like Barry. So after Armageddon, Grant Gustin will be able to play both Barry Allen and Eobard Thawne, so Tom Cavanaugh can officially go. If possible. I don't. That's the thing, though. Would you? And obviously, Brandon can reply to this, but everyone that's watching still. If Tom Cavanaugh goes Reverse Flash, they can't get Matt Letcher. So that's the scenario. Tom Cavanaugh, he retires from that role. Matt Letcher's unavailable. Those two actors are out there. Would you rather them cast a, say, younger actor to play a younger Eobard Thawne? They can do like a young Reverse Flash storyline, like maybe how Reverse Flash or Eobard Thawne first gets infatuated with the Flash, and then eventually becomes Reverse Flash. Would you rather them cast a new young actor to play that look like Matt Letcher, and then maybe in an episode later on they can get Matt Letcher to play that older version? Or would you rather have Grant Gustin just play both roles? Because for me, I'd rather them do two different actors. I love Grant Gustin. I think he'd definitely be able to pull it off and play both. But I would definitely want a different actor to play Eobard Thawne. I don't really like it when consistently and over time you have to have two characters talking to each other that are played by the same actor. Like they get away with it on Caitlin and Frost because they don't do a ridiculous amount of scenes with them and it works for that short amount of time. But really, like I don't think I'd really like it too much if it was Grant playing both roles. I'd like to have two different actors playing it. I abuse ops. I think that's what it says. I'm not too sure if something's attached to this because unfortunately I'm using StreamYard, and if there's something like a sticker or a emoji, it doesn't show up unfortunately. But thank you very much for the support for the channel. I'm not too sure if there's anything under this though. But thank you very much for the super chat. I always appreciate it. Sheev Spin with a super chat. Thank you very much for that. Season 10 would end in 2024, so maybe then. That's exactly right. Season 10 would end in 2024. So, like, what is it? Yeah. 8, 9, yeah. For some reason, my math was off then. Season 10 would end in 2024. So, I guess you could say that's a perfect ending or very comfortable, or it actually means something. Naruto with the $2, rewatching Arrowverse, adding the shows as they go. Imagine having to rewatch the Arrowverse, how many episodes you would have to watch. it had to be like you'd be approaching 1,000 surely episodes. 40 minute, like 40, 45 minutes. I didn't. Wow. What is? Hold on. What's? Give me 2 seconds. What is like? Let's just say it's 1,000 episodes. Let's just say it's 1,000 episodes, just to be clean. 45,000 divided by 60, 750 hours divided by 24, 31.2. If you wanted to watch the Arrowverse potentially, at least when it, like Flash ends potentially in a couple of years, you would have to watch straight for 31 days, no sleep, to watch the Arrowverse. Well, that's unhealthy anyway. I don't know if I could do that one. Um, I abused with the $2. Would you want to see Zoom again? I'd love to see Zoom again. And Eric Wallace said he'd love to find a way to bring Zoom back in. Maybe I don't know. Maybe Armageddon with a timeline change can bring that in. Um, I'd love to see him though. I'd love to see it. I mean, Teddy Sears, I'm sure, would love to come back and play the character in some way, shape, or form. Um, Carlman R2D2 with a £2. Thank you much for that. We need an Earbud Origin episode, I think. I'd love to see more than just an episode. I'd love to see um like what do you call it? I want to say like a massive storyline, like 5, 6 episodes, but I'd love to see like a 3 episode window where they do that. So like the first episode is Earbud before he like officially goes overly crazy. Um Second episode is him starting to crack because of what's happening with his storyline, and the third episode is when he officially becomes the Reverse Flash. Like imagine like a 3 episode storyline, maybe smack bang in the middle of a season or something like that. I think that'd be awesome. I think that would be awesome. Maybe that's just me. So the first episode is just introductions, and you get some sort of hints that something's wrong with him and some of his motives. Middle episode is like sort of carrying off in the first episode, but then like some crack showing, and then the third episode is him officially becoming Reverse Flash, and maybe the first fight between Reverse Flash and Barry. I think that'd be awesome. I think that'd be really, really cool. But we've been streaming for over an hour. I can't believe that this time has gone that quick. I can't believe that time has gone so quick. But Scuba came in with a late super chat coming into the final minute. With a £2, thank you much for that. How are you though? I caught the flu, if you ask. I'm good. I definitely don't have the flu. It's actually starting to get incredibly hot down here in Australia. It's because if you don't know, it's summertime in Australia at the moment. So I'm looking outside. There is not a cloud in the sky. It's just really sunny. So I can tell it's going to be a hot one today. So yeah, I don't think I'm probably more in danger of getting heat stroke than any sort of flu. How was your dog? He's going good. I actually got I have a thing here. Give me 2 seconds. I'm trying to see if I have a uh okay, hold on. Let me trying to find I got like I've got a photo on uh my computer. Okay, I'll show you this one. This is the so if you this is the last thing I'll do on the stream. So hold on, give me 2 seconds. Okay, so this is a was arc the word you're looking for? Yeah, like a short arc for the story arc there. That's definitely the word I was looking for. I can show you a little quick thing here. Asking about the dog. This is a photo. There you go. So that's a photo of Cal in the back of the car. I don't know what I was doing there. It's just randomly on my computer, but it's not from too long ago. I don't know specifically what we were doing, but I had to. I can tell. I think it was warm that day, and I kept it open at the back. But I can't remember what I was doing specifically that day. I can't remember. But that's not from too long ago. So that's how that everyone. What's that new meme that's going on? Everyone asks what the dog doing. No one asks how the dog doing. Paige, what type of Australian accent are you speaking with? I am speaking with an Eastern Australian accent. For those who don't know, there are different types of Australian accents. Meet someone from South Australia, they speak like they're British half the time. Like I say Grant, they'll say Grant, which is how British people talk. Or at least like poshy English people. I don't know. Is that in Tasmania? No, this is not in Tasmania. I think I don't think I don't think I would I don't think I'd be there. But yeah, anyway, that's it. So thanks to everyone that watching, that watched, might I say. We've been going for over an hour. Thank you to everyone that's super chatted to support the channel. It's always greatly appreciated. And just thanks to everyone that joined in to have a chat. I'm always love talking about the show. I'll definitely do a stream after part 5 because God knows what they're going to throw at us in that episode. And if there's a cliffhanger, I think we'll definitely have quite a lot to discuss and potentially what's set up as well. I don't know if they'll release a trailer though. I don't know if they'll release a trailer for episode 6 just because it's so long away. So I might be waiting. A while for that, but we'll have to wait and see. I guess we'll know by this time next week. But yeah, I'll catch you guys next week. I'll have some videos out over the next couple of days. No video today. We did the stream today. Definitely have a couple of videos over the next couple of days. But yeah, until next one, guys, I'll catch you later. And hopefully everyone has a good weekend. Behave, stay safe. And I'll catch you guys later. Goodbye.